MTD Daily, thank you for joining us. Today we've got Edward James, Managing Director of Citizen Machinery UK. Edward, thank you for joining us. Crack straight into it. Citizen Machinery UK, how are you coping with the current crisis?
I think we're doing the best that we can, same as everybody else, Colin. You know, it's unprecedented times for all of us. None of us have been in this situation before. We're trying to get through it the best we can and to remain supportive to our staff and our customers.
Okay, and I presume, with your machines, key to making those critical ventilator, respirator parts, your machine can be utilised for that. How are you sort of getting involved with all this?
Well, first of all, we were contacted early on by the UK Government Consortium for Ventilator Production, which later became known as the Ventilator Challenge UK.
Okay.
They asked us how we could help, and Citizen Machinery UK is the largest supplier of bar mill turning lathes in the UK and Ireland. Many of the parts that were required to be made for ventilators were suitable to be made on our type of machines. Initially, the consortium were considering setting up an additional factory to make these parts and the ventilators, but the advice that we gave them was different to that.
Okay. What was your advice then?
Well, our initial belief was that UK manufacturing from OEMs down through the many tiers of the supply chain manufacturing in the UK was very strong in the UK, and the best way forward was to utilise the existing network of first-class manufacturers. We put forward the names of many of our end users who we believed had the numbers of machines, the expertise and the ISO accreditation to achieve what was required. In fact, we knew many of them already made ventilator parts or similar types of medical or non-medical parts out of both normal and specialist materials. So then it was down to Rolls-Royce, BAE and GKN, who were taking the lead on the supply chain management, to both contact and convince these manufacturers to change over their production, which they all did, to my knowledge, without being asked twice.
Absolutely. The call to arms it is obviously key times, critical times now. So we've got to ramp up that production. But I'm thinking, we obviously speak to a lot of engineers. A lot of them have been furloughed. The machine shops have closed down, but a lot of them are very busy making these critical ventilator parts. How are they coping? How are you helping them?
Well, we offer to help the end users to repurpose their machines, and we've done a lot of CADing out of components which needed to be made differently. So like plastic injection molded parts that needed to be made from solid materials, particularly things like connector parts for tubing. Right. We've also supplied our labour in the form of our application engineers out on site at end users to help rewriting programs and setting up new jobs. Our sales team helped identify which parts we could make on our machines. In fact, pretty much everybody mucked in to help out. Okay. And we've loaned out so many tools and tool holders and collets, more than I care to mention. Everyone's helped out where they could, including all of our excellent suppliers.
Okay, well, I hope you keep a good inventory of that, because we want to make sure you're getting back in the end. I'm sure all the engineers are very trustworthy, of course. But something like I mentioned earlier, some of these engineers are very busy, and they're actually running sort of 24/7 now because they've got so many parts, critical parts to make. Have you been able to supply new machines and things like that?
Yeah, it was clear to our end users that the only way the demand could be met initially was to have additional machines and additional capacity.
Right.
We were very fortunate that by having two technical centres in the UK, both of which have large showrooms, and a policy of being able to deliver from stock helped that. We had a high number of machines on display, and most of those were already prepared. And we had a high number of machines that were ready for the MAC exhibition. On top of that, we still had stock due to the uncertainty of Brexit. Okay. All in all, we had lots of machines and accessories. The only thing you could say is that the timing was the only fortunate thing.
Yeah, well, I suppose one massive positive out of all this is you've got those machines, like you say, in stock, ready to go. So how many have you delivered now?
Well, in some cases, our first point was to go out and try and repurpose customers' machines. Yeah. Where we couldn't do that, we took machines that we already had that were due to be delivered to customers and repurposed those. We set lots of them up before delivery. We're very lucky that we've got our own fantastic transport company called J Parish. They work for us full time, and David Parish and his team were happy to continue delivering those machines for this purpose. So what with them and our engineers, we worked around the clock 24/7, including weekends and even shifts, to get machines installed and cutting as quickly as possible. And our suppliers helped us with that too. It was a huge commitment at a time that we were also suffering from a reduction in numbers due to this COVID-19. And To be fair to the team, in a little over 3 weeks, we've prepared and delivered 17 machines from stock, as well as having reset many other machines for users. Some of those machines were literally delivered and running within 36 hours of us receiving the call. And I can't thank everyone enough for all their help.
36 hours, it's absolutely, normally you expect 2-3 months, and then I know it's obviously unprecedented times, but 36 hours is absolutely amazing, really is. Fantastic effort there. What I want to take a step back, the applications engineer, so if someone does get a call up, a requirement, whatever, because there's loads of, capacity needed now to manufacture these parts, they're going to be new parts, so your applications engineers are on hand. Well, no, Chris Downham, for example, was going to go on the show, but he's actually stacked out, so they are available if required though.
Yeah, absolutely. Our main purpose is to keep manufacturing going. It's so important. We've got around 50% of our service engineers still working, including back office support. All of our apps guys are working. We've had one guy out for 3 weeks at the same customer to help this customer due to the demand and staff shortages that they had. We're not charging for our time. We're just happy to help.
Brilliant. It's great to hear Citizen Machinery UK are actually, stepping up to help with this crisis. It really is fantastic. What I want to do then, moving on quickly, obviously we know Mac 2020 has been postponed. You mentioned about some machines. I'd like to just cover off, because we had done some videos about some new machines that you've got coming on board. If we could just cover those, I obviously don't want to go through a full specification of them, but a couple of them that stand out. The M32, for example, that's a powerhouse machine, but it's got even better, I understand.
Yeah, we were so looking forward to Mac 2020, Colin. We had so many new models and so much new technology to show off. It really is a showcase for us. And the M532, it's the 5th generation now of the M series machine, which is our flagship slider. It's bigger, it's stronger, it's got more driven tools, more power, guide bushless. It's just growing and growing, and it's the first M series machine from Citizen which has true 5-axis simultaneous cutting.
Wow! So
couple that in with the new Mitsubishi touchscreen control. It's a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, I did a review of Chris Downham, and it is an absolutely phenomenal machine. Like the B-axis, full simultaneous B-axis, the HMI, which is the touchscreen facility, just everything. And it, you look at it and you think, is that really a sliding head machine? Because it's just a beast, and it's so solid as well. So absolutely fantastic. Next one I want to cover off quickly is the A20, small little sliding head machine. What's gone on with that machine?
Well, the A20 has always been seen as our entry-level machine, but to be honest, it's not really an entry-level machine now, because it's 7-axis. It has LFV on the machine as well now, even though it's FANUC controlled. We're the only people that can supply LFV on a FANUC controlled sliding lathe, and we can do 2-axis simultaneous cutting on that machine. So it is an affordable machine. It's a very strong machine. It does up to 1-inch capacity. Guide bushless. The A series has always sold in very high numbers. It's probably been our most popular machine, and this just continues that tradition of the next generation. It's exciting.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now I just want to clarify, because before with the LFE technology you could only have it on the Mitsubishi control, so this one you can have it on the FANUC controls. But for those out there and engineers who don't know what it is, but just in case, the LFE technology, just very briefly, what is that, Edward?
We have 2 modes of operation on the LFV, but basically what we're doing, Colin, is we're creating an air gap on the cutting. So the spindle is synchronized with the axis movement to create an oscillation, and the tool backs off from the workpiece by 20 microns. And the reason that's so important is it allows oil to come in between the cutting tip and the workpiece. It prolongs tool life, it improves surface finish, and because we're creating an air gap, we can chip any material we want, and we can synchronize that either the number of oscillations per revolution or the number of revolutions of the spindle per oscillation. We can actually program the chip.
There you go. So LFV, very, very nicely summarised there, and big one. No more birds nesting. Now, moving on then quickly. Obviously, Mac 2020 postponed to 2021. Are you going to do anything in the meantime?
Yeah, of course. Once we get through this terrible situation, we normally have our open house, as do other manufacturers. We have the open house season around September, October times, and we'll be looking to launch a lot of the new technology that we were going to have at Mac at an open house at Citizen Machinery UK Bushy headquarters. from the 6th to the 8th of October.
Just to clarify, is that going to be Bushy headquarters or the Briley Hill, the new
We're going to do it initially at the Bushy headquarters, but both of our showrooms are fully stocked and open for demonstration at any time. Okay. So, if people can't drop in to see us at Bushy, they're more than welcome at our West Midlands facility in Briley Hill near Stourbridge.
Excellent. Edward, thank you very much for that. I mean, finding out about the new machines, what they're going to do coming up in open hands and things like that, but how you're helping with this current crisis and the ventilator parts, the critical components, and helping the engineers out there. That's absolutely fantastic, Edward. Thank you for that. If you could just give me a quick summary, please, that'd be fantastic.
Well, I suppose the closing statement is that, the machine tool industry has been affected by COVID-19 the same as most manufacturers. That means that a lot of machine tool companies have had to close. We do expect things to pick up at the end of this year, in the second half. And we would say to people that there is a chance that there will be a shortage of machine tools and peripheral equipment as a result of that. So if people are still thinking of investing, they should place their orders with confidence to make sure they safeguard the machinery that they need. We'll be busy up to the end of the year and looking forward to MAC 2021 in January. But as a closing statement, Colin, I'd say that we remain positive and optimistic, and that UK manufacturing will be recognised as being important once again. Make purchasing managers think twice about the stability of their supply chains moving forwards and purchase in the UK. Let's get Great Britain and the Republic of Ireland as a great place to manufacture, not just for now, but for the future too.
Edward, that is absolutely perfect. Getting the UK manufacturing and Ireland, absolutely brilliant. Great how Citizen Machinery are really helping the engineers. Thank you very much, and we hope to see you soon. That's it for today's MTD Daily. Hope you enjoyed the show.